So I'm having a little pipe smoke. It's been about a week since I smoked. On the boat in Garrison Bay, outside Roche Harbor on San Juan Island in Washington. A lovely day, but I'm here right now because it's supposed to be kind of a crappy day as the wind picks up in the Haro Strait, which we're going to cross tomorrow into Canada. So I'm a support boat on the annual canoe journey, and honored to do so. Having a lot of fun. Kind of a lot of responsibility, though. It's like, whew, lives in your hands. So, but that's part of it. Allows me to come along on these things. So, it's really fun. I'm listening to Victoria Coast Guard Radio, the latest weather update, because there's going to be a lot of high wind crossing over to Vancouver Island. So we want to avoid that with our little canoes. Been a great journey so far. We've been out about a week. Two weeks to go. Smoking a KGE, one of these pearwood pipes from Ukraine. You know, it's like, what pipes do you bring on the boat? I don't know. So, I brought those. It's nice. Really lightweight. Doesn't taste like pear liqueur or anything. Smoke's dry. Good smoker. I kind of like the shape. So, there's a book here, The Curve of Time. An absolute must read if you're transiting up and down the coast on a boat. The Northwest Coast. It is iconic. This woman came to near Victoria over here in the 1920s, and she and her husband had 5 kids. He was a professional surveyor or something like that. She was well educated. They had a little wooden, lightly built powerboat, 25 feet, and he drowned. Left her a widow in 1927. So to make ends meet, they would rent their house out. They had a great little house out on Curtis Point near Sydney. And they would rent the house out during the summer and then pile onto the little powerboat and go exploring up and down the coast. And so this is sort of a collection of the tales of that. The Curve of Time by Muriel Wiley Blanchett. Super highly recommended. One of my favorite books of all time. So I'm going to take this in. One thing I have found that's really fun to do on these canoe journeys is when people are rafted up to me to use the head or to make lunches or just take a little break. I'm kind of like a floating island. Oh goodness, somebody with loudspeakers. You never know who your neighbors are going to be. I'll read to them a little bit. Like I've got a historical atlas of the region, and you know, it's just some of the early accounts are just fascinating. There was a bay, Massacre Bay, back here on San Juan Island, and the Stickeen Indians in 1858 came down, as they normally did, to do slave raids on the Lummies or the Samish, whoever was available. And so they came down, and their name for Puget Sound was the same word as slave. Oh my goodness. You know? So just talking about all of that. So anyway, it was really fun. It's fun to do that. And so I'll find little selections here that are appropriate, you know, and quick to read, but it's just so much fun. Maybe it's my inner teacher that wants to share stuff. But really, these journeys are all about the people. The experience is just the shell that encapsulates all the interactions between the people. And it's just so much fun because people are so great, you know. And tribes have been described as a very large family of in-laws, where everybody's kind of related somehow, but distantly, some closer than others. And that's pretty true. I just work for a tribe, so I'm not native. And it's an honor for me to be able to come on these things, because it has become the cultural event of the year. And so to participate is to really have an inside seat, you know. And so it's just one of the highlights of my year. So we'll be out for 3 weeks, and going up the Campbell River, BC, halfway up Vancouver Island. This Rainier Levant I picked up a couple weeks ago down in Fife at Smoky Joe's at the where the Seattle Pipe Club meets. So it's still pretty new, kind of moist. Needs to be tended a bit to smoke well, but it's good. It's tasty and smooth too. So today's a lazy day. We were going to leave this morning at 5, but then our hosts on the other side, one of them had a change of plans, and and the wind's coming up this afternoon, So we decided to just spend another night here at English Camp, which is a national park, or a national monument. I'm not sure. It might be a park. Here on San Juan Island. Part of the Pig War, where the U.S. and Britain almost went to war, but common sense prevailed somehow. Can't imagine that these days. All about interpreting the 49th parallel and how to split Canada and the U.S. and who had what. And so the San Juan Islands were kind of being claimed by both. The Pig War, because an American shot a pig that was rooting in a garden. The pig belonged to Hudson's Bay Company, which was basically a corporate governmental entity of Great Britain. And that precipitated a crisis. And so each country set up garrisons on San Juan Island. And so English Camp here is where the British did. American Camp is down on the southern end of the island, 13 miles away. So, but life is good. I hope everybody's having a good summer. Yeah. So it's just going to be a little while before I can make a little video, so I want to make something here and put it up. But life is good. Life is good. Yes, indeed. There's nothing better than riding at anchor in a little sailboat. Just the motion is just so gentle and floating. Much better than being at a dock. just delightful. So I have as big an anchor as I can manage, which is a 33-pound Bruce, attached to 60 feet of high-test chain, and then a nylon rod after that. So I can haul that up. It's the Armstrong method, or really the lower back method. But yeah, I couldn't manage the next size up, which is 44 pounds. I just couldn't do it. But what it does is it's a little oversized at 33 pounds for this boat, which is 28 feet. So it's generally a pound per foot of boat length is the general guideline. Or go as big as you can go. But it lets you sleep at night, you know, because it's a nice, secure anchoring system. Like that. I'm sure we'll have some adventures. We already have. Interestingly, coming through the San Juans, we stopped at Lopez Island, which is, its nickname is Slowpez, because it kind of moves at a slower pace. A lot of people ride bicycles there. It's kind of a quiet backwater of hippiedom, you know. So we were hosted actually by the community. We thought it was going to be a no-host stop. So we had food set up and everything, but oh my gosh, the community came out and hosted us in the most gracious, friendly, welcoming way. It was beyond remarkable. It was beyond wonderful. You know, in these times where everybody's grousing about this political thing or that, or I'm not budging on anything, you know, it's just like, wow, this just totally affirms your faith in people in so many ways. So, yeah, it's really, really good.